once upon a nest upon a nest. All three have a singing voice. The youngest lost her sanity, the middle lived elsewhere, the eldest sings to the crane. Where do you come from? I am a slave to your voice. Don't you have news from our world? The crane does not answer and flies away. Go, fly away from our world. She is invited to sing, the makeshift listen, leaves and branches swim. At her funeral, some confused her sisters for her, even her sisters, but her image is constant. A cloud of Marilyn's hairdo, a blue bead on her neck, her skin glows, cotton palms and tree bark fingers work at kneading, grounding, saving, storing guns under the twin bed for men who taught men by aiming at the leg. A man sits on his balcony with a mandolin. It's a summer night and the building across can be touched by a stretch of the arm. The one next to it is a church. His wife sings inside, after the tremor of the organ, the incense rising into the upper part of the vessel. Last night, in a small Italian film, two mourners exchanged a book by Nazim Hikmet. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother imagine our fatherland. Only I return solely to confirm that it does in fact exist, to claim that the dill and the roses are in fact more vivid than the apricots. Only I wonder why no one translated the sunlight piercing through the holy clouds. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother tell me. The soft skin of a dying thing, so weak its back is arched to keep wilting upside down, with all its ardor draining to the bulb, like the pricking of a finger across text. Petals wait to split apart, death wins, outlives strife. The thin piece of lead, a stem like a bird's backbone, bends, depending on how long it's been since the last knuckle crack, unless if it was excessively soothed, lost its head. A dark pink is a light purple, shriveled mid-center is a saved piece of the past season, which you forgot existed, forgot will return in time. You forget the scent, you forget the root, you forget the dull durability of the thorn that never fell. The problem of describing red. It is irrelevant to stab the dead. The windowsill is to be cleaned thoroughly during the summer when flies drop often. Beads of matte red not to be picked or touched. My grandparents' backyard a little like alligator swamps. My grandfather is wearing white to fend off the heat. The tank top reveals flat spots of red on his arms, back, and dry trout belly. As he inhales, the emerald water bubbles, twirls the white lilacs. This is not my memory alone, but occurred in a home video or was told to me. The architecture of maps. It is because I am a continent away that I can sit here with my back to the tree. I'm leaning against the tree at the center of a cul-de-sac and watching a street that leads to any place. I'm a continent away, yet I feel my back against yours if I read about you. I read that you are facing the wall, but you call the Jadad al-Fasl al-Ansuri, or the security fence your neighbor built to protect himself. I think maybe you made handprints and fresh cement when they built this tomb, and you probably don't feel my back against yours because you probably imagine me more than I think of you beneath the shade where you are undeniably visible. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 oranges with cinnamon. At the pit of the ocean, tangled in arthritic tree hell, you and I have loved each other and the otherworldly, watching despair, wondering, and panic. Someone is whispering over the phone about his broken glasses. Don't let this happen to you, he says. A lot of things from an imaginary scroll. He withers into sub-madness at the tip of an idea which he climbs into, barefooted with a pigeon-loaded gun. His 2 hands grab a neck that only I had touched, or that's how it felt until the skeleton of his fingers found their way. Dark yellow carpet wall. In the bed we develop a secret language which we held. He won't hear our smiles shiver, a genius of loss. I understood age, then I understood you. How he didn't get to his, knuckles, belts, bellow. Don't think we don't remember the day you saved us, or the oranges you make, or your ignorance of time, while a million fantastically miniature milk mice on corners of the house. The colors on the walk back still scream something. Sometimes, I forget which happened first. Thin hairs mapped on a steaming wall. We won't forget you're around. Clean water, planted, empty vacuum. Clean bins, house, clean wing, spray, flush, brew, ash. Our house, our bed, our kitchen. The sun, the moonlight in general. Jars clean, closed. I saw you with gray hair, watching the world, what you could do. What could you do, while I watched the stairway lit by the sunset that I found at the right side of my head. When you were gray and handsome, I understood age, how you are already old and time allows you to become new. A man who plays an accountant most days gives a brief account of his life whose wife amounts to counting her pills. He goes in, he goes out on a limb for those hemming him, handing cigarettes as Halloween sweets, and between scenes he wanders but he seems to know where he's been. Thank you.